turned out really good. Really good. Nice. It's gonna match a lot closer now. Of course, this is still more shiny, but for the inside, that looks really good. All right. Here in a little bit when I get home, we'll flip it over and start the other side. All right, so first things first, we're going to clean up a little bit of our mess here. I got some 80 grit. All I'm going to do is just go over the big stuff, take it right off. So see, that'll take some of the bigger stuff down. All we're doing is we're just trying to take out some of that big stuff from there, when we can put the Bondo down. And so what I did, I went out and bought that wax and tar remover. This is the stuff I do. So now that I sanded, I'm going to use this to clean before I put the Bondo down and just wipe it. But first I'm going to finish off this side and this side sanding, so that way you kind of get an idea of what I'm doing. Alright, so now we hit this with the 80 grit. You can see it all smoothed out. I'm not going to worry right now because I'm still going to put the Bondo down, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Just to get the 80 grit to kind of get some grooves in there, so when I do put the Bondo down, it'll adhere to it better. So now I have this wax tar remover, and I'm just going to spray it and then wipe it off. So once again, sorry, spray it on there, wipe it off, make it nice and clean. And then to the Bondo, you'll hold on 1 second. I can't get the lid off, but anyway, all you're going to do is take the lid off, and there's a little hardener, and you're just going to put a few drops of the hardener, mix it up, and just spread it on. So I'll show that when I get ready to do that. Alright, so you can either pour it on like so and wipe it down, or you can pour it straight on the rag. I prefer putting it on the rag and just wiping it down. Seems like you don't waste as much wax tar remover. So you just basically just cleaning up all this stuff you sanded, all the gunk. Okay, trying to get all that big stuff off. See? Alright, so we'll let that dry a little bit, and then once that dries, then we'll show you how to do the Bondo. Alright, so this is your Bondo, and that's your cream hardener. So what you do is I just scoop it out. I want to put it all like on here. I'll scoop it out with the spoon, put it here, make a little pile. Maybe like 3 spoonfuls of this, and just like a drop or two of that, because the hardener will start hardening it real fast. And so then what I'll do, and then once I mix it up, I'll take this spatula and just go along here and make it flat. All right, and that's all you do is you go back and forth, back and forth. Doesn't matter if you make a mess or not, because you can sand it down. So don't be afraid to try it. All right, here we go. You'll notice that this is red, so it'll turn, or blue. Maybe this one's blue. Anyway, it'll change different color, so you'll have a different color on there. That way you'll be able to see instead of the gray. All right, here we go. Okay, so one pro tip is once you get done spatulaing right there, wipe it off as soon as possible, because once it hardens on your spatula, it's hard to get off. So that way, because you're going to reuse your spatula over and over and over again. Second thing, okay, see how it filled it all up? I know it doesn't look that pretty right now, but what we're going to do once that dries, we're going to sand it down, see if we missed any grooves or anything, and if we did, then we just put another coat of Bondo over it. You know, just redo the steps again. Put the wax tar remover to clean it, and then put another layer of Bondo down. Use 80 grit for now on your sandpaper. So that's the difference between the two. You can kind of see how I just fill it all in. And that's the secret with that compared to this. Alright, so see how it filled in all that? So now we'll just have to wait for that to harden, and then we can sand it down. So while that's doing that thing, I'm going to do another 3 or 4 scoops on this other side, use the hardener, and then fill in this one. Alright. Alright, so there's about 4 scoops of Bondo. You want probably about that much of the hardener on it. Okay, and then all I do is I just take the corner and mix it in, and then once I'm ready to go, then I just scoop it on. All right. Turned out really good. So it doesn't matter if you get these little high spots, you know, because it does become tacky and it's hard to control. That'll be sanded off like in no time flat. So once this dries in about an hour, it says about 30 minutes, but I like to give it an hour. We'll come back and sand it down and see how flat we got it. And then from there, then I'll be looking at other spots. I think there was a, thought I saw a little bit low spot. Maybe it's up in here. There's a little bit of a low spot, so we'll see once we get it sanded down flat. You know, I'm not going for perfection because this is down by the footwell. I'm just going to try and get it the best I can. I can already tell I'm going to have to put one more layer right over here because that has a little bit of the hump. So we'll let it dry first and sand. That way we can get it really nice, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to put at least one more coat on. Kind of gives you the idea of what to do there. So yeah, so what I did is I put 80 grit to sand it down to kind of hold it onto the metal. Now say these are already painted and you're doing some body work, you would try and sand it down all the way down to the metal. You know, and give like an inch or two of where you're working, and then put Bondo over, and then you'll smooth it and then prime it. Yeah, I just use cheap cardboard to mix it on, because I mean you don't want to spend more money than you have to. They have the mixing plates and stuff, but I mean, why? You're just going to throw it away, because once this hardens up, it hardens up. So just use cardboard. My brother asked me, he's like, well, how come I didn't hang these up to paint? For one, there's nothing to hang them to unless I want to put them like right here. Number 1 and 2. So number 1 is that there's nowhere to hang them from. I guess I could do the hole right here, but still. Number two, they're pretty heavy. These are solid stainless steel. You know, I can lift them, but I think they're probably at least 40 pounds each. And you know, I don't want to get any overspray or anything just by them hanging. So, which is fine. You know, professionals, what they'll do is they'll hang them and spray them. But for my little workbench and what I'm doing, it's fine. Alright, so we'll let that dry and we'll come back to it here in a little bit. Alright, so it's dry. So I'm just going to kind of give you an idea. I'm going to put a new pad on. But I'm just going to scratch the surface a little bit to kind of show you how fast it can grind down. Okay. Alright, so you can see, and then you take your finger and you can feel the grooves. So what you want to do is you want to take, you know, preferably a real sander like this, and then once it kind of gets smooth like that, then I'll take and hand sand it down. That way we can see all the grooves and everything. But I can feel like right here, see, still needs a little bit right here, right through there, where it's a little thick. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sand it all down, and then we're going to go over and see what is rough, and maybe put another coat over if we missed a section or whatnot. So that's what we're going to do. All right, here's about 20 minutes worth of sanding. When you're sanding, you just let this do most of the work. All you're doing is really guiding. You don't have to press down hard on it. Okay, so this is just the initial. If you kind of look really good right through there, you can feel it. Okay, I can see I still need a little bit of sanding right in there, right in here. Now see, you see these little indents? Okay, now I could either go and backfill it, or I could keep sanding. For right now, I think the way it feels, it still needs to come down, because I can feel a little bit of a ledge right there. But and same right in there. See, that has to be nice and smooth, like up along here. Hope I can get that good enough. So see, that's what you're trying to do. Just get it real smooth. This part's really close. This still needs to come down a lot, so you can kind of see the area I'm working in. So see how I just went over the top just to get the heavy stuff off. And so right about here onward is where I'll have to keep sanding, because it feels like I still have to go down a little bit. So I'm just going to keep sanding instead of adding another set of Bondo. And try to change out your pads, because they gum up. So change out your pads as often as you can. And that's where we're going. I haven't done that side yet still. You can kind of see the difference. So that'll be all smoothed out and everything. Let's see, let's wipe it down a little bit. That'll help too. And once all that, then you blow it out and wipe it down best as you can, you know, with that wax tar remover, and then we'll prime on top of it if we don't have to fill any more Bondo. I think we're really close though, so I don't think we'll have to fill, but I don't know, we'll see when we're done. When we're done actually sanding and get it all smooth, because I'm thinking I still need right here, because I can feel it go down. So I think I'll have to come back and Bondo a little bit right there. But like I said, we'll figure it out once we actually get the sanding done. And that has to come down a little bit, because I can feel... You can feel it better than you can see it. So you're going to feel all over the place once you get going on it. Alright. Alright. So I think I'm almost done sanding this first section. This is all looking good. I gotta sand maybe just a little bit more right there. I think all that needs to come off, because that doesn't feel right. There's a little spot there. I think primer is gonna fill that in. I'm gonna try that with primer. I gotta sand a little bit more right there. I can feel it. Or this right here. I gotta get that little chunk off. Let's see. Well, that's feeling pretty good, and they have tiny little indents, but I hope that filler primer might fill it in. I might go over it just one more time. Right here feels a little low. I'm gonna sand this area a little bit more. Feels good from here, you know, from down here, but up here it just feels like it's a little low right there. So I might just put another little bit of Bondo right through there, because it just feels like it feels good there, even though with that ridge it just doesn't feel like it's smooth. And then I got to get this corner right here a little bit more. So I'm going to sand this area a little bit more, maybe a little bit more right here, and just a few other areas like right here and right there and right there. And we'll come back and see if that needs filled in or not. It's close. It's really close. So I'm going to sand a little bit more and see what happens. So that's kind of what you're going for. Just feel it. And if it feels smooth, if you feel like a little bump or catch, like this one's a bump, just a little bit of a catch, then you know you got to sand it down some more. Sometimes you can see it, sometimes you can't. See, like this, you can't see it, but I can feel it. Everywhere else feels really, really good. Just right here on this end is where I need to get it. I'm just right through there. So, all right. So I did this side. Feels all good, good. Except for right here. Oh, I think I still can sand that because it feels a little heavy right there. And I think that'll be okay. So we'll see when we get primer on that. So I think that one's done. I think I'll sand a little bit more over here. This side, it's feeling low, like right through there. So if I put my hand across there, actually, you know what? Maybe we could go to something like that. Yeah, it's a little low. Still a little low. A little bit low right there. See if there's any gaps. Yeah, a little bit low right through there. So on this side, I think I'm just going to put a little bit right there. One more Bondo right there, yeah, and right through here. All Alright, so we're going to mix up some more Bondo. I'll just put a little slab right there. See what happens. Okay, that's what we're going to do next. Oh, I'm going to wash it down first with the wax remover. Wax tar remover. So we're going to use that, wipe it down, let it dry, and then do a little more Bondo. Alright. Alright, you can see we're still a little wet right through there. So I lifted it up a little bit right there. And then this one, I just put another coat over the top. That way it's nice and thick, and I'll sand it back down. Because this one was a lot more wavy than I'd like it to be. So that should give me enough lift to where I don't have to worry about it. Take off that corner right there. Don't need Bondo on the edge. So that where it was low right there, that's fine. So everything else should be level now throughout that. So it's a little bumpy looking and everything there, but once I sand that down, so we'll give it another hour to dry, and then we'll come back and sand it. And after that, we'll throw down some primer, gray primer on top of it, to see if there's any more imperfections, because you'll be able to see, you know, with the primer on, you'll be able to, if it's wavy or anything like that. When you're hand sanding, if you're actually using your hand to sand, you have to be careful not to put pressure on your fingers, because what you'll do is you'll create grooves in where you're sanding. So that's why you want to prefer like a block sander, you know, a block that you can go back and forth. Or if you're going to do it, try and use your whole your 4 fingers when you're pushing on it. Like when I'm have sandpaper for hand, so I'll hold it kind of like with that. I'm not, you know, and just my thumb kind of underneath to pinch. So I pinch these two and then use the 4, you know, to sand down. It, you know, if you're hand sanding, but try to use a block. I do have a block. Let's see, where the hell is it? Right here, a Bondo block. So you can put the pieces in between here, clamp them down, and block sand it. But tell you the truth, when it's just with Bondo and that, your initial stage, this is going to be your best friend. You know, so when I'm sanding, let me go on this side. So when I'm sanding, I keep it just flat as possible, and I go back and forth with this length, because this is where it matters, is going across there. You don't want to go like this and go in, because this groove right here will dig into that. So go long ways like that to where it's kind of level, and go back and forth. Okay, so you have to kind of think of how you're going to sand as you go. And with the edges, you don't want to go this way either. So I kept going this way. That way, when I came flat, you know, it would go flat. So what I did is I do the edges first, you know, to get them nice and smooth, and then I went this way. All right, and then kind of did circles too, just to kind of even it out. So that's another little tip to help you out when you're doing that. So this is looking, I mean, really good. Feels really good. I don't feel any dips at all in here. So there we go. This side will work some more, because it was a little more wavy. Wasn't happy with it, so I wanted to build it up a little bit more. That's for sure. On this side. All right. We'll wait till that dries up and sand it back down. All right, so after filling that in, I'm gonna wipe it down to get even a better look. That way we can see all the little imperfections or anything. So see, after you wipe it down, then you can really see it. So right there, gotta sand just a little bit, but everything else is fine. See, that looks like it's indented, but it's not. It's just going through. Then I got that little dent right there, but I think the primer filler will take care of it. So this one's about ready. Just like I said, right down in there. But before I do that, I'm gonna sand down this side, get that one all ready. That way I can prime everything all at once. All right, just got done wiping down this side. It's done. You can see it was more wavy in some of the other areas, but right now that is just really nice. Checking out all the spots to see if there's anything. So all looks really good, to tell you the truth. I think I'm gonna clean up my area and then we'll prime it. We'll do some primer. All right, we're gonna wipe everything down. I'm gonna wipe down the table and then I'll clean out all the insides of that. So we'll do the table first because we don't want no dust kicking up. And I'm gonna put like paper over this or something to, so the primer doesn't get all over the table. So now that that's clean, then I'm gonna bring these up and wipe them down inside and out, even get the insides. I'll need 2 hands to pick them up because they're heavy, but that's what I'm doing. And then we'll get the primer on and probably resand, see where any imperfections are on the outside. We'll look through it. So let's wipe it down, in and out. All right, everything's cleaned up. Now what we need to do is, because we have to paint along here, so you can see along there. See, we already did the inside, but you're not going to see that part, so that's no big deal. But we need to get to the bottom of this, so I need to get something underneath there to pry it up a little bit, if I can get this side of the body. So once I get it propped up, then I can spray it, because what's going to happen if I spray it now, you'll stick this cotton here, and I need it off of it so it won't stick, kind of like what it did to the plastic on the front side. So that's the reason I did the back side first, is because I knew it would stick and I could sand it down to make it look nice on the front side, because the front side matters more than the back side. So that's what we're gonna do. So I need to find something to prop it up. All right, so I propped it up with these little airbags here, and then it's actually a jerky container, but it lifts it up just enough to where I'm gonna be able to get paint on it. And so just a thing, this sanding took about 3.5, roughly 4 hours. So, you know, if a shop rate is like, you know, $120 an hour, you know, you've just spent about $500 to pay somebody just to do that. So really, you saved about $500 just on the Bondo and sanding. All right, we're gonna get some primer, and then we're gonna prime it up. All right, this is the primer filler. So fills deep scratches and sands easily. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to spray this. I'm going to try and spray a little section, maybe right down here, to kind of get an idea. So see, I like to spray, oh, that's about 6 to 8 inches away, and you're just going to go back and forth, nice even coats. And if you get overspray on the stuff we painted, no big deal, because we're going to paint it one last coat of black anyway. So the primer goes on really nice. And just work in sections, no big deal. Because if it doesn't come out too flat anyway, we're going to be giving it one more sand anyway. Alright, so that's how you do that. I'm going to finish this up, and we'll go from there. Okay. So you can still see some bumpiness along there. Now where I'm going black, you'll be able to see that bumpiness. So you can do two things. Now that you can see it, you can go back and re-bondo it on top. I have to sand it down, re-bondo it, do some more work. This side is not so bad. There's a little bit here and there, kind of hard to get the light on it, but to tell you the truth, I think once I get another coat of primer filler on it, that will kind of go away, because it's just the bend in the weld to where they welded it. So I can work on sanding it more now that I see it, if you want perfection. So that's kind of why they always body work, then primer, then sand. Again, I think a lot of this I'm going to be able to sand out, get it nice and flush again. So that's what we'll work on. This side turned out really good, except for the little runs. Those will be fixed up really easy. So one step closer. All right, it's already dry. I think I'm gonna let it sit just a little bit longer though before I start sanding. Now I'm going to go. I have 1,500, which I think is too high for right now. I got 2,000. Well, let's see. I got 1,000, 2,000. I got 120. 120. I got a 220. Maybe that's what we'll do. Of course, that's with my machine, but maybe what I'll do is I'll do 220 on this one. This one I'm just gonna hand sand down. If I sand it now, though, it'll gum up the pad real fast. So I'm just gonna wait a little bit till it dries. Maybe I gotta wait just a little bit longer. Then I'll hand sand that down. That might be it for tonight. The sun's starting to set. Yeah, let's finish this tomorrow. I'll let it set overnight. That way I can work all day on it tomorrow. Getting closer though. Looking a lot better than what they did. And then eventually, like I said, I'll have a professional repaint the car, and they can worry about it. On fiberglass, they got what they call as a gel coat. It helps because fiberglass, I don't know if you can see it, it cracks. It just expands and everything, and it cracks the paint. So they use a gel coat, and that gel coat kind of makes it a little bit softer, so it doesn't crack in that. So when I get time, a professional will actually do that. on metal is different than fiberglass. I'm going to take this off and fiberglass that little hole. That'll be probably next after that, after my pipes. So I'm going to put some fiberglass underneath some resin, some fiberglass just underneath to hold it, and just glass it over from the top after the bottom dries. So what I'm going to do is once I take this out, I'm going to tape this whole area up first, fiberglass the underneath, so no fiberglass goes on to the actual paint. Then take the tape off. Once that bottom sets, then I'll put a fiberglass top on top. So I'm going to just do a little section around there. So I have to be really kind of careful because I'm going to have to come out, I don't know, probably an inch on each side to make it set. And then I'll kind of do my best to color it in. Like I said, once a professional does it, then he'll make it all just color match and everything. So, because eventually I'm going to widen the front too to match the rear. And so once again, it's going to be a hodgepodge until I can get everything done, and then have a professional go over it and then repaint it, make it look all nice. So we'll see how good the pipes come out first or the heat shields before I start on this, because if it comes out close, then I'll do that. Because this came out close, you can see though it's flat black. But if you're walking by, or it's not flat black, it's gloss black, but it doesn't match the body. But if you're walking by and not paying close enough attention, you won't even notice. So, okay. Yeah, we'll finish this tomorrow. All right.